I was sorting through lease applications for my downtown property when my phone lit up with a video call from my cousin Amy. One look at her face told me something was wrong. "Maya," she said quietly, "have you checked the family group chat?" "I muted it months ago," I replied.
Why?
"You should unmute it. Your mom's hosting a family dinner at your building, and they're making plans." My stomach dropped. I opened the chat, and my screen instantly filled with photos and messages taken inside 842 Sterling Lofts, my building. For stories. Retail space on the ground floor, apartments above. I'd bought it 2 years earlier for $1.8 million through my company. "Mom, family meeting. We've figured out how to split the building fairly. Come see your future spaces. Marcus. Third floor is mine. The corner unit has perfect light for my studio. Vanessa. Second floor works great for me and the kids. Easy access. Mom, your father and I will take the penthouse. Maya can use the retail level. She works from home and doesn't need much space." I scrolled, my grip tightening. "Dad. Parking's handled too. Marcus gets 2 spots. Vanessa needs 3. Maya barely drives, so she can use the compact space out back. Aunt Linda. How generous of everyone to share the family building. Maya must be so happy. Marcus. She bought it, sure, but family property belongs to family." I immediately called my property manager, Devin, then my attorney, James Park. "Devin," I said, keeping my voice steady, "is my family inside 842 Sterling right now?"
Yes.
"Your mother contacted me yesterday. She said she owned the building and needed access for a family gathering. I told her only you had authority, but she insisted, and she had keys." "Keys?" I repeated. "She claimed you gave them to her." I exhaled sharply. "I had once. An emergency key after surgery. It was never returned." "James," I said next, "get to 842 Sterling now. Bring security. My family is occupying my building and claiming ownership. I'll be there in 15. Don't confront them yet." I grabbed my laptop and ownership documents and headed out. Amy texted as I drove. "They're measuring rooms and talking renovations. Your mom's giving tours." When I arrived, James was already there with 2 security officers. Voices echoed from upstairs. "Ready?" he asked. "Absolutely." We entered and climbed to the second floor, where my entire family had gathered, parents, siblings, aunts, cousins. Folding tables were set up with food. Marcus was gesturing excitedly about his future studio. Vanessa's kids were sprinting down the hallway, calling dibs on bedrooms. My mother beamed when she saw me. "Perfect. We've just finalized the layout. Come see what we decided." "Decided what?" I asked. "How the building will be divided," she said. "1 floor per sibling. Your father and I take the penthouse." "Everyone stop," I said evenly. The room went quiet. Marcus sighed. "Don't make this a thing, Maya. It's a family asset. No one's kicking you out, you get the ground floor." "This isn't a family asset," I replied. "It's mine. I own it outright through Apex Property Development LLC." James stepped forward, opening his briefcase. "I'm James Park, Ms. Chen's real estate attorney." He placed documents on the table. 842 Sterling Lofts was purchased 23 months ago by Apex Property Development for $1.8 million. Sole owner, Maya Chen. No shared ownership. No trust. No family claim. My father flipped through the papers. "But we gave you money when you started out." "You gave me $20,000 8 years ago for my first business," I said. "I repaid it in full, with interest, within 18 months. I have proof. This property was purchased with profits from my development company." Vanessa frowned. "You never told us you owned a whole building." "I invited everyone to the grand opening," I said. The invitation literally said, "Apex Property Development presents 842 Sterling Lofts, a Maya Chen project." None of you showed up. James added calmly, "Ms. Chen owns multiple residential and commercial properties in the city." The silence that followed was loud. Her property holdings now carried an estimated value of $8.3 million. This particular building alone brought in roughly $15,000 every month, thanks to a retail tenant on the ground level and 2 occupied apartments above. Marcus blinked.
Hold on, he said.
You're saying people actually live here? Yes, I replied. The retail space is leased to a specialty coffee shop. One apartment is rented by a freelance graphic designer, another by a young couple, all under valid contracts. Mom shook her head in disbelief. That doesn't make sense. The place looked empty when we arrived. Because 2 units are in transition between tenants, I explained. And the penthouse upstairs is my home. The one you're currently occupying without permission. Dad's voice rose. Occupying? We're your family. Your mother has keys. I gave her an emergency key after my surgery last year, I said evenly. That was for emergencies, not for letting herself in, hosting gatherings, or handing out my property. One of the security guards stepped forward. If necessary, we can escort everyone off the premises. Aunt Linda shifted uncomfortably. Maybe it's best if we leave. This feels awkward. Mom stiffened.
No.
Maya is being unreasonable. One person doesn't need an entire building. Family share. She's hoarding it. James didn't hesitate. Mrs. Chen, your daughter, is the sole legal owner of this property. She has tenants and resides here herself. You have no legal entitlement to any portion of it. But that's not how family works, Vanessa snapped. Maya's always had money. The least she could do is help us. We have needs too. I met her gaze. What needs? I turned to Marcus. You told Mom last month you were between opportunities and needed rent help. She gave you money, didn't she? Marcus stared at the floor. Vanessa, you drive a brand new SUV and just vacationed in Cancun. Your kids attend private school. Dad, you're at the country club multiple times a week. Mom, you renovated your entire house last year. None of you are struggling, you just want more. And you decided my work was up for grabs. Mom's voice cracked. You have so much. Multiple properties. Why can't you share? Because I built it, I said. From scratch. I started my consulting firm with nothing, saved obsessively, learned the real estate market, took risks, and grew this portfolio alone. You didn't support me. Most of you openly doubted me. I pulled up old messages on my phone. 2 years ago, when I said I was buying this building, Marcus wrote, "Sure you are. You can barely pay rent." Vanessa said I was lying for attention. Mom, you told me to call when I wanted real financial advice. No one spoke. Even the kids had gone silent. James placed another document on the table. This is a formal trespass notice. You are all being informed that you are on private property without permission. Security will escort you out now. Any future entry without written authorization will result in arrest. Dad scoffed. You'd really do this to your own family? Family doesn't break in, assign themselves rooms, and erase someone's achievements, I said calmly. Marcus exploded. So that's it? You're kicking us out like criminals? Making us look stupid? You did that yourselves, I replied. I'm just undoing the fantasy. Security began guiding people toward the stairs. Linda gathered her things quickly. Cousins avoided eye contact. Vanessa rushed her children out, whispering sharply. At the doorway, Mom turned back, tears streaking her face. I never thought my own daughter would treat me like this. I never thought my mother would steal my keys and try to give away my home, I said quietly. She left. Marcus lingered, staring at the empty room he'd claimed online as his future studio. I already told people I was moving into this loft. Then you might want to update your post, I said. He stormed out. Afterward, James stayed while Devin and security cleared the building. We found measuring tools, abandoned toys, and serving trays left behind. All locks will be replaced tonight, Devin said. New access codes, cameras installed. No entry without your approval. Good, I said. And no more emergency keys.
Already handled, he replied.
And I should have verified her claim. I'm sorry.
You did your job, I said.
She just counted on family pressure. James gathered his paperwork and closed his briefcase. Maya, don't underestimate them, he said. Your mother truly believes she has some right to that building. She may try again. Then we'll handle it properly, I replied, with attorneys and law enforcement if needed. By midnight, the locksmith had replaced every lock and installed new keypads. The security company brought all cameras online, every entrance, every hallway. For the first time since the incident, the building felt like mine again. The next morning, the family group chat erupted. Marcus, Maya called the cops on us over a family dinner. Mom, she chose real estate over blood. I don't recognize my own daughter. Vanessa, my children were traumatized by security guards. This is unforgivable. Amy messaged me privately, just so, you know, no one was arrested. The guards were calm and professional. They're rewriting the story. I muted the chat, again. 3 weeks later, my phone buzzed with an alert. Someone had attempted to enter 842 sterling using an invalid key. Devon called seconds later. It was my mother. Police arrived and issued her a formal trespass warning. She told relatives I'd called the police on my own mother for no reason. Meanwhile, the coffee shop downstairs sent me a handwritten thank you note. We've noticed the increased security. Thank you for taking tenant safety seriously. Other tenants echoed the sentiment. Apparently, before everything blew up, my mother had tried to show the building to friends, introducing herself as the property manager. 6 months later, every unit in 842 sterling was occupied. The building's value climbed to $2.1 million. I refinanced and used the equity to acquire another commercial property. Marcus now posts photos of his cramped studio apartment, captioned with quotes about humility and rejecting materialism. Vanessa tells anyone who will listen that I'm new money, with no sense of family. Mom occasionally sends long, emotional messages about how I abandoned everyone for buildings. None of them have ever apologized for breaking in, lying, or claiming ownership. Last week, Vanessa asked if she could rent one of my units at a family rate. I declined. My properties aren't family assets, I said. They're mine, built with my effort, my capital, and my risk. It's funny how the people who dismissed your ambition are often the first to claim it once it succeeds. They never earn my floors. A year after the Sunday dinner fiasco, I received a certified envelope from an unfamiliar law firm. Inside was a lawsuit filed by my parents and siblings, claiming partial ownership of 842 sterling based on vague verbal promises and implied family partnership. I forwarded it to James immediately. This won't go anywhere, he said after reviewing it. There's no documentation, no contracts, no proof. They're hoping you'll settle to avoid stress. Don't. I didn't. 2 months later, a judge dismissed the case outright and ordered them to cover my legal fees, $11,200. They were livid. Marcus called me a soulless corporate climber. Mom sent a lengthy email blaming me for tearing the family apart. But something shifted. After the lawsuit failed, Marcus quietly asked if I had any junior property management roles available. Vanessa wanted investment advice. My father casually mentioned he'd always been interested in commercial real estate and wondered if I needed a partner. They didn't want reconciliation. They wanted proximity to success now that they couldn't take it. I said no to all of it. Today, my portfolio includes 6 commercial buildings and 8 residential properties across 3 cities. Annual revenue exceeds $2.3 million. I employ 12 people, property managers, leasing agents, maintenance staff. Last month, a local business magazine featured me, Maya Chen, from code to concrete, how one woman built a real estate empire. My mother called the editor to complain that the article didn't credit family support. The editor told her they only publish verifiable facts. In my office, I keep the ownership documents for 842 sterling lofts framed on the wall, not as decoration, but as a reminder. Ownership is an entitlement. It's responsibility, risk, sacrifice, and work. My family wanted the rewards without any of that. They hosted one Sunday dinner and believed it entitled them to floors, parking spaces, and equity. But success doesn't work like that. Buildings don't work like that. I changed the locks that night and never looked back. Now, when I walk through 842 sterling, past the thriving cafe, past content tenants, up to my penthouse overlooking the city. I remember that Sunday. I remember them dividing up something that was never theirs. And I remember that I said no. In business and in family, the most powerful word is often the same: boundaries. I own my buildings. Every one of them. And no Sunday dinner will ever change that.